Ladies and gentlemen, it's morphin time. It's time for pancake power. It's time for Power Rangers. Back here to talk about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers once and always, the Netflix special to celebrate the 30th anniversary of this pop culture show from the 90s. My initial thoughts, if you were a Power Ranger fan from back in the day, I loved it, even though it wasn't the most ideal. Cast members missing. We'll get into the details. It hits certain things that you would expect with the cordiness. I'm sure I'm gonna be a man on the island and get attacked like putties, but I don't care. I friggin' enjoyed it. Maybe not to Johnny's level with Mario or Grim with Dungeons and Dragons, but I friggin' loved it for what it was. Let's kick it up. We'll get to everything. Let's kick it around the panel. Go ahead, guys. Here we go.
Let's not all run at the same time.
Oh, no, please. You're leading the pack on this one, Spade.
Oh, you want me to lead? Okay.
Yeah, please. Go
right.
ahead.
After watching it, I wanted to strangle Pancakes for making me watch it. Okay, look. As a kid, I watched Power Rangers, not going to lie. I mean, when Power Rangers came out, I was like 10 or 11 years old. Mm-hmm. It had the cheesiness, but the fact that I see a 50-year-old doing it, it's even worse now. I couldn't get into it because it was just so I don't know. Like I saw inconsistencies, I saw storyline plot holes, I saw so much stuff, and I'm just like, why? You had so much time to think of a good story, to write something that's good, and instead you give us crap on a stick.
Mm-hmm.
Grim.
Okay, so Spade kind of brought this up not a moment ago, but I wanted to like it. I really did. I also am a fan of Power Rangers from along with Pancakes. My first iteration wasn't Mighty Morphin. The one that I actually liked right from the get-go was a little later down the line with Lightspeed Rescue. But I did go back and I did watch it. Yeah,
interesting.
No, I was a late bloomer for Power Rangers, but I did go back. I did watch Mighty Morphin. I got all the storylines, and then to see how we get into this story right here, and we just like jumped into it. I'm like, wait a minute. How does he have that power? Where did she come from? What is this? What is with that makeover? What? I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to grab onto. I didn't know what was happening. I did enjoy some of the cameos coming out. The effects were better effects than what we got from the 90s, which I felt was like it was meant to look the way that it did, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But there were like certain things that I'm just like, this is a lot. I needed a second to sit down from that special. It was something.
Johnny.
It was something.
Now, so I was a big Mighty Morphin fan when I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Hey, all right.
And like I used to dress up in costumes, used to have like the head flipping action figures, all that stuff.
Oh, me too.
So yeah, those were fun. So like the thing is, I hadn't really like once I got out of that, like it was like when I was like 5 or 6, I hadn't really watched Mighty Morphin ever since. So like I went into this like not knowing like the power continuities, who should be having what powers, all that stuff. What was wrong with this movie was that it was completely written around all the limitations that they had with the resources that they didn't have to make this movie. Because I didn't hate this movie, I pitied it. Like I felt sorry for it because it was a bad movie, right? But you could tell the people who were making this movie really wanted this to be like a reboot, throwback tribute to all the fans from way back in the day. Yeah. Obviously, Trini, I wasn't expecting Trini's death to be the whole center point of the story. I just thought she was going to be like, oh, like she's going to have a picture on the wall, and like that was the indicator that she was not with us anymore. But they full on show her death and everything, which was surprising to me. But everything else, like they didn't have Amy Jo Johnson, they didn't have Jason David Frank, they didn't have
Austin St.
John. And they had to write in how like the reasons why they couldn't be involved in the story and things like that. I was just like, they're really just they want. I felt like if I ridiculed this movie too hard, it's like telling a kid who like brought me his little like drawings and like, are you gonna put this on the fridge? And I'm gonna be like, no, this is a piece of shit. I don't want this on the fridge. It's terrible. What are you doing? No, you're gonna tell that kid like, oh, this is a good job, and then you tell your other friends like, I couldn't tell him no. So like. I knew, and Big Grim, what you were saying, like with how everything was shot and filmed, like it was terrible effects, like it looked like the TV show. You could see like the seams in the back of their costumes and everything, but like that was part of the charm of the show itself.
Yeah.
So I like that actually, but that's what I found was wrong with it. It's just like there was just too many missing pieces that they were trying to walk around that just at the end of the day just didn't make the movie anything near with what they were hoping to make it. But one last thing I will say. The tribute at the end of the movie to Jason David Frank and Trini's actor, I thought it was pretty beautiful. I felt a little emotional at the end of it as well. So like that was a nice like send off. I just wish they got a better movie for it, honestly.
So go ahead, Spade.
Joe, what's the daughter's name? Min, right?
I think so.
Min, right? Okay.
Trini
I have
too.
a question. Yeah, Trini too. If Trini was her mother, who was her father?
No, we're not going to
and why
talk
was
about
he
that.
Not there.
We're not going to talk about that because
it
should have been Billy. That's all I'm going to say.
That's what I thought this was going. I thought that they were going to be like, I'm actually your father, but Zach took care of you all these years.
I was kind of upset at that. I'm going to be honest. I'm like, whoa. Who was the one who was always with Billy during his experiments? It was always Trini. Every single time.
You're right. Okay, the story itself, with the casting, obviously it was designed for Walter Jones and David Yost to shine because they couldn't get the other originals. In an ideal world, all six are doing it, doing this story. Did you guys get confused by the story that, he was the super genius from the show? He became a tech billionaire, Tony Stark style. He built his own command center, designed his own alpha, and he experimented trying to bring Zordon back, but he accidentally created Rita. He brought Rita back, who possessed Alpha at the time. Yeah. So he indirectly is responsible for Trini's
9 is
death.
the new one. 8 was the old one.
Oh, right.
8 was the one that she possessed. I think.
You're right.
I believe.
She possessed 8. 9 was built. I'll say this with the story. They could have taken like the Halloween route, ignored 30 years of continuity, and be a direct sequel to the original series and ignore everything else. But I do respect the fact. What I do respect with that, they acknowledged the Z wave, how Zordon died. Zordon was not in the story, just mentioned. Billy being a super genius designed the powers, so that's why we had proxy coins, and that's why Rangers from 30 years ago still have access to powers.
Where was Lord Zed? This is bullshit. I hated this. I despised this show. I despised every second. It was so bad.
If you want to know about Lord Zed, you got to jump into you got to keep watching all the way up to Rangers in Space.
I think that's another big thing they should have done. Nope. They should have done Rita and Zed.
Right. That would make sense.
Listen, you can only get the voice lines for only one major character, okay? That's
what
it.
Was their budget?
$50,000? I don't know.
Guys, here's an interesting fact, and you're gonna be like, thank God they didn't do this. I think David Yost negotiated when he went to Netflix to pitch. He originally wanted an 8-part miniseries. And just
I wouldn't watch that. I'm telling you now. If
I could barely get through this
miniseries, I would not watch that.
So that's why they settled with the 1-hour special.
Yeah, and I like that it was only 55 minutes. I was like, I remember looking at the time. I was like, oh, it's only like that much time. Okay, good.
So
like it's not an hour and a half or, or any longer.
So yeah, so with the to tie into the cheesiness, especially the graphics, like Rita as a robot, but the nostalgia moment to see the Zords and come together to form the Megazord, and then see the Power Sword. Look, the original show used the footage from Japan. It was better than Cocaine Bear with the graphics. I'll say that much.
I don't know. Saying a lot.
I didn't see a costume scene in the back of Cocaine Bear. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, but you did see all that fuzzy CGI though.
Yeah.
And all the Power Rangers that were getting kidnapped to generate Rita's machine, the fact that they used the toys. I'm surprised you guys didn't.
I was just about to say that. I'm convinced that those were the head flipping action figures that they used for when they got shrunk.
I don't want to talk about it because that was
and to go to call back something Spade pointed out in our trailer review when that came out. It's like, oh, there's got the B team. Yes, they got the, like any show, any band is going to be changes. So people forget Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was 3 seasons, and the 3rd season's pretty underrated for the stories. Yes, we got Rocky, the not so popular Red Ranger. We got a cameo with Adam and Aisha, but Kat was an evil brainwash ally for Rita, and she did take over for Kimberly. So they were technically part of the Mighty Morphin cast. Yes, not the original 6, but it made sense to include them in a way. And they had to get the 5 original Rangers. And I like kind of the fact that Billy was the leader because he was the genius and he was leading the charge. He called for the Zords.
Oh, but it should have been.
Once again,
Tommy.
The Red Ranger was not the leader. Just saying.
Yeah.
Billy was here.
I don't know about Billy. I think it was Zach who was leading.
Yeah,
I think it wasn't Rocky.
We all know it should have been Tommy. We all know it's like he should have been in this movie.
Well, listen, we're not going to talk on that right now.
Well, let's think about it this way. Ready?
Yeah.
If Jason David Frank read the script and said, "No, I'm not going to be in it," we should have known it was going to suck.
Right. I'm not knocking him for saying no to the movie. I'm just saying the movie did need him. But I think honestly,
Jesus too.
Once he said no, the project should have just been canceled, because it's like, how do you not have a movie like that without Jason David Frank? He is or has been the face of
Power Rangers his entire career.
Yeah.
So that's what they have to say. I'm probably being delusional. Definitely. I like what we got.
100%. You are delusional.
That's what they have to say. That's what I thought. Let the power be yours. Like, subscribe.
Not this power, though.
Go, roll those credits.
Roll credits.
Do the hickory dickory down below. Roll credits. We're out.